Welcome back to another part. Today we're going to be working on if statements and nested if statements. And what we're going to do today is we're going to be making a text-based game. And this text-based game is going to be very similar to when we were kids. We ended up making these books, or reading these books, where you read a page of the story and then it says go to page 8 for this part if you want to do this, or page 12 if you want to go here, and you just map out the story like that. So you're going to make the decisions, and we're going to be making a story based off of something like that. Now, or create your own adventure type of games. That's what it is. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, and I'm going to teach you guys how computers make decisions. Now, the first thing we're going to do is a little bit of review. So in order to take input in, we need a scanner. So we're going to type in scanner scan equals new scanner system.in. Alright, now this will allow us to take an input, and before we can ask the user what to do, we kind of need to give them a scenario. So my particular scenario is I'm going to do system.out.println, and I'm going to say you are at the mall waiting for some friends. And I'm just going to keep on typing over and typing this again. While you are waiting, you see let's say where you see a store having a sale. And then we're going to say, what do we do? What do you do? And if they type in the letter or the number 1, then you're going to go to the mall or go to the sale, to the store. And then our second choice will be stay and wait for your friends. Okay, so those are our choices. If we run this, it's going to be very similar to our Hello World program. So we're going to run it, making sure that it's okay. And it should pop up. There he goes. So if you also notice right here, I think you guys can see my cursor now. I think I turned that on in the video record. But if you look right here, you see that little gray box. It says terminate when I hover over it. Well, what that is if it's red, the program's still running. So that's something that we really need to be more aware of. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create an integer called choice. And what choice is going to be is what is the choice that we're going to be selecting. So the very first one is going to be choice equals scan.nextIn. So none of this is new information. Okay, we're just taking in the user's input and we'll figure out what it is. Now, what is new is how do computers make decisions? And what that is we're going to be using what we call an if statement. So it's the same thing as if we were trying to do something like math or logic. If something happens, then do this. So that's kind of how you have to read these particular statements. So if choice equals 1. Now equals stands for is more comparative, whereas 1 assigns the value. So if you look at this particular line, we are assigning scan.nextLine into choice, and this line here we are comparing, saying is choice equal to 1. If it is, then we're going to do what's inside these two curly braces. So we also are going to be learning the if-else statement. So if it is not equal to 1, we're going to assume that it's 2. And we can eventually build out this a little bit more. But so in this case, if the choice is equal to 1, we're going to go to the store for the sale, and otherwise we're going to stay and wait for your friends. Now, let's say what happens to your friend, or if you go to the sale. You find a t-shirt for $2. Do you buy it? Question mark. Okay, so we're going to again give us 2 more choices. Yes. System.out.println. No. And then we're going to use choice again. Now the old choice value is going to be overwritten as soon as they type it in. So scan.next, and so if they say yes, so we're going to say if choice equals 1, we're going to then go ahead and print this out. System.out.println, do you wear it? And then we're again going to use yes or no. And since I already have a yes and no option, I'm just going to copy and paste that in. Boom. And this is going to be my last choice on this particular branch. So scan.nextLine, or scan.nextInt. And then this is the last one. If choice equals 1, we say, and then we're going to say, you look cool, because we're wearing the new t-shirt that we bought. And that's going to be the end of our program, or end of our story here. Else if, let's say, what's going to be if we don't put it on? Okay. And then what we're going to say if we don't buy the t-shirt, we're just going to say you carry the t-shirt out of the store. Boom. And that's another ending there. I could give more choices, but again, I'm trying to limit this. And this is what we call a nested if statement. If you guys look, you have the if statement inside the if statement inside the if statement. Also notice that I indent every single time I open a new if statement. This makes it much easier to read, because in this if statement here, this one right here, I didn't include a second option. What happens if we say no? Okay, so we're going to come down here, okay, because this is the same choice. We haven't done anything with that one yet. We're going to do else, and what if we say no? And we're going to say system.out.println, would you like to buy a watch? And then again, you have the same system.out.println, the yes or no option. And we are forking this version of the story out. So always remember that not all of this happens concurrently. So it all depends on the user's choices during your entire program. So did I buy the t-shirt? Yes or no? But they don't really, if I say no, then then I'm not going to have the choice to ever wear it. Okay, so do you want to buy the watch? Yes or no? And then I'm going to take another choice in, scan.nextInt, and then I'm going to do if choice equals 1. Then I'm going to say system.out.println, you look at the watch and you are late. You run home. Okay, so we're going to run home in that. And then the other version, if I do not wear it, we're going to have a shoplifter take it. So we're going to do system.out.ln. You walk out of the store, and a few minutes later you notice it is missing. Oh no, so we're going to lose our watch there. Actually, nope, because our choice here is, would you like to buy a watch? And we actually said no. You notice, let's say a few minutes later, you want to go back and buy it. Okay, so make sure that the story makes sense. Okay, so that's those options there. Now we have our else statement of, so we've done pretty much half the story. Only if we wanted to go in the store. What happens if we wanted to wait for your friends? Now we could add more if statements, but since this video is getting a little long, what we're going to do is we're just going to make this a dead end as well. So we're going to print out right here. You wait and wait and wait. Your friends never show up. Okay, so that's going to be the story there. So that's going to be a very, very quick ending. So this particular story has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different possible endings to it. And as we add more and more nested if statements in these, we're going to start expanding more and more options. So if I ended up breaking this up, I would have 2 additional ones. So I would add one actually additional one. and taking one out and then putting two options. We can also add additional choices. Okay, so let's say we had a third choice. Okay, we had stay with friends, or we have go to the food court. So this is my last thing I'm going to say right here. Go to the food court. Okay, now if we go to the food court, we have three options. So the first option is choice equal 1. Okay, then we're going to go in here and we're going to do if choice equals 2. Now what this does is if this particular one is false, if choice is not equal to 1, then we're going to check to see if it's equal to choice 2. And if it is, then we're going to wait for our friends. And then we're going to assume if it's not 1 or 2, we're going to do 3. And it's just going to be you go to the food court and it's all closed. We're going to have another dead end here. You go to the food court and it is all closed up. No food for you. So now that we have this, we actually have three options in this first one, and then we have two options in there. So make sure, key elements that you need to make sure that you are aware of when you in this particular program is make sure you indent so you can easily see what level everything's on and where you're going. Also, make sure you guys are putting the curly braces in the correct spot, because if you start tacking them all at the end, it's not going to work how you intend it to. So that's another big problem here. So let's run this program, because I don't think I've done that. So we're going to run this program. Let's go to this. Let's test out our two easy answers. So 3. Okay, so no food for you. Good. Okay, how about 2? Okay, we wait and it shows up. Again, the program's ending. Perfect. Now we're going to go to the store. Look at it's still red here, so it's still running. Do we want to buy the shirt? Sure, why not? And do we want it? Yes. Okay, we look very cool, and the program ends because that's the last one. So let's go to the store again. Let's not buy the t-shirt. Do you want to buy the watch? Sure. And you can start seeing that. Now, ideally, I would like to test out every single possibility in this, and it's not that hard because we have we have 6 endings right now, so it's not very hard to keep on testing them all. But once it gets larger and larger and larger, it might be. But you should be testing as you go to make sure you don't have any bugs. So I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Hopefully you guys understand an if statement and nested if statements. If you have problems, just feel free to comment in the down below. And why don't you guys try making your own stories? Thanks.